Good morning. Chairman Lata, Ranking Member Matsui, and distinguished members of the subcommittee, thank you for the opportunity to testify about securing U.S. communication networks from foreign adversaries. I'm pleased to provide relevant research and policy insights from the Foundation for Defense of Democracies, a nonpartisan research institute where I serve as a senior fellow. In today's era of digital warfare, the United States faces an insidious challenge as China deftly maneuvers within our communication networks, undermining the foundational integrity of our information systems and national security. Increasingly, the Chinese are not merely seeking access to our networks. They are preemptively positioning to compromise and control them. As noted in the Defense Department's 2023 cyber strategy, China's peacetime penetration of U.S. networks informs its preparations for war, with the line between the two becoming increasingly blurred. China's People's Liberation Army, or PLA, has long prioritized targeting, penetrating, and compromising our, quote, information detection sources, information channels, and information processing and decision-making systems, end quote. The goal of such compromise operations, according to PLA strategists, is to, quote, sap enemy morale, disintegrate their will to fight, and ignite anti-war sentiment among their citizens, end quote, all without the clamor of conventional warfare. That theoretical framing explains why China's communications and networks attacks are focused on targeting what PLA planners refer to as vital points or weaknesses in our communications infrastructure. These points include public-facing vulnerabilities in communications-dependent sectors we rely on daily, like energy, water, finance, transportation, and healthcare. By pre-positioning itself within these sectors and the communications networks that connect them, China is poised to strike at our nation's lifelines to, in the words of Jen Easterly, the director of the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, induce societal panic. The U.S. government's recent exposure of the Chinese state-directed Volt Typhoon operation is therefore not an outlier, it's a signal. This Chinese cyber initiative compromised thousands of internet-connected network devices in a deliberate attempt to infiltrate Western critical infrastructure, including naval ports, internet service providers, and utilities. This and other recent examples offer a revealing glimpse into China's strategic calculus, showcasing Beijing's willingness to embrace high-risk, short-of-war operations to compromise critical U.S. communication infrastructure, even amidst an ostensible diplomatic thaw. Looking ahead to the battle space of 6G and beyond, China is laying the groundwork to dominate these future technologies and supply chains too. China's proactive positioning in standard-setting bodies, like the International Telecommunications Union, aims to advance global telecommunications norms that favor Chinese technologies and strategic interests, potentially embedding dependencies that could be exploited for intelligence gathering or to assert geopolitical leverage. Paradoxically, even as policymakers intensify efforts to remove Huawei, ZTE, and DJI equipment from U.S. networks, China is working to exploit open-source collaborations like the Linux Foundation, O-RAN Alliance, and others to reintroduce today's vulnerabilities into tomorrow's trusted networks. The Linux Foundation counts among its members Chinese companies like Huawei, Tencent, Baidu, and WeBank, all of which maintain ties to China's government and its military. A significant portion of O-RAN Alliance's members are headquartered in China. At least 16 maintain documented ties to China's security apparatus. That includes all 3 of China's mobile operators, which are banned from operating here because they're subject to exploitation, influence, and control by the Chinese government. Rigorous oversight is required to scrutinize these nonprofit collaborations to ensure they do not serve as conduits for Chinese exploitation, espionage, or manipulation. As China's approach evolves, so too must our own. Indictments and exposure have not deterred Beijing, nor has it meaningfully reduced China's technological leverage over us. Going forward, we must embrace common-sense defensive measures, as well as deploy offensive policy tools that impose significant costs on Chinese entities and individuals involved in perpetrating crimes against our communications infrastructure, with the goal of compelling Beijing to recalibrate its risk calculus. On behalf of the Foundation for Defense of Democracies, I thank you again for inviting me here today.